Hi everyone. So today's class we're going to be focusing a lot on the side body. So we'll be getting into the SCM, the intercostal muscles, the obliques, the outer hips, down the side of the leg, IT band, even the outer ankle and foot. So all we'll need for this one is one yoga block, and we're going to go ahead and start on our backs. So let's go ahead and begin. Let's lay down in shavasana. And just find a place where you can be comfortable here. Allow the eyes to close. And just take a moment to settle in. And then just begin to notice the breath without trying to change or manipulate the breath in any way. Just simply noticing how you're breathing. Noticing the depth of the breath. Noticing the speed of the breath. Really even just noticing if there's any consistency from one breath to the next. Now starting to feel the sensation of the breath filling the body from bottom to top. Notice the body relaxing as we release the breath from top back down to bottom. As you draw the next inhale in, we're going to count to 4. Hold that breath at the very top for the count of 7. And then softly release out of the nose for the count of 8. Inhale for the count of 4. Hold the breath for 7. Softly release out of the nose for the count of 8. Inhale for 4, one more time. Hold the breath at the very top for the count of 7. And softly release for the count of 8. And now simply begin to leave out that pause. So we'll be inhaling for the count of 4. And then without pause, exhaling for the count of 8. As you continue to breathe like this, noticing maybe the mind feeling a little bit more centered, the body feeling a little more relaxed. The more we breathe in this way, the more effortless it becomes. Staying very connected with the breath. Begin to walk the feet together and stretch the arms overhead behind you. And then begin to walk both the feet and the hands to the right. So just a little side body stretch on that left side. Go as far as you can go, making sure that we're keeping the back of the body on the floor. And then cross your right ankle over your left and grab hold of your left wrist with your right hand and just gently pull on that left arm. And just a really soft and subtle stretch as we begin to warm up the body really slowly. Begin to come back through center. And walk the feet off to the left now, walking the hands off to the right, left as well. And as soon as you get as far as you can go, cross the left ankle over the right and grab hold of that right wrist with the left hand. And again, just a really soft side body stretch here. Release and come back through center. And hug both of the knees into the chest. For just a moment, rock side to side gently. And now releasing the arms out to a T, softly dropping the knees to the right and taking your gaze to the left. Still noticing and connecting with the way that you're breathing. Appreciating the relative ease here at the beginning of class. Gently pull the knees back through center and drop the knees to the left. And gaze off to the right, taking a nice deep breath in and letting it go. Noticing how the body's feeling as we slowly start to wake up the muscles. Gently pulling the knees back through center, wrapping the arms around the knees, maybe rocking side to side one more time. And then slowly rock on up to seated and right over to child's pose. So bringing the big toes to touch, knees apart as wide as you can, sinking the ribs in between the thighs and dropping the forehead to the floor. And just taking a moment here to settle in, noticing how the low back is feeling. Relaxing the hips back towards the heels. Lifting the forehead up off the mat, just maybe an inch as you walk your hands off the mat to the right side. So go as far as you can go, keeping that left hip crease pressing back in space and really stretching up that left side of the body. When you get as far as you can go, crawl your left fingertips just a little bit further forward and then melt down into this one. And as we're here, really sense the ribs expanding with each inhale. Noticing that stretch in the intercostal muscles in between the ribs. Taking just one more breath here. And slowly walking the hands back through center and right off the mat to the other side. So keep pressing that right hip crease back this time, maybe crawling your right fingertips a little further forward, and then melt down into this and really feel as the lungs fill with air and the ribs expand, you're feeling that sensation of stretch in the right side. Slowly make your way back through center. Rise up to hands and knees. And we'll begin with just a few soft cat-cows here. So as we inhale, we're dropping the belly, lifting the gaze. As you exhale, rounding the spine, dropping the head. Inhale to drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, round the spine, drop the head. Let's take just one more round here. Inhale. Good. And exhale. Slowly coming back to that neutral position. Take your right leg back behind you. And we'll pivot and plant that right heel. Raise the right arm straight up in the air. So we're in a modified version of a side plank here, making sure your left knee is right underneath your left hip. Take just a moment, settle in, press down through the outer edge of your right foot. And now as you inhale, we're going to rise up. So lift the torso up, extend the arms out to a T. Good. So just prepping for a little gate pose here, push down through the outer edge of that right foot. Maybe feeling that nice stretch in the outer ankle. And as we exhale, drop the right hand down that right leg. Left arm reaches all the way up and overhead. Maybe even gazing underneath that left arm. Good. Now take your right hand up and interlace all of the fingers with your left hand except for the pointer fingers. And then stretch the arms back towards the back edge of the mat. Really feeling, again, a nice deep sensation, maybe from hip through fingertips in that left side. And we'll transition from a bit of stretching on the left side to a little bit of strengthening now in the obliques on the right side and the left a little bit. So now begin to lean to the left, keep the arms straight, and go right to where you start to feel resistance or where it starts to feel a little challenging. And pause here, breathe. Just a few more breaths. Inhale, bring the arms back to a T. And as we exhale, swim the hands back down to the floor. Take an inhale for cow pose. And exhale for cat pose. Inhale, come back through center. Let's extend the left leg back behind us. Now toes can stay down on the floor. Pivot and plant that left heel and swim the left arm up in the air. So again, we want the right knee to be right underneath the right hip here. So if you need to adjust, go ahead and adjust. Press down through the outer edge of your left foot. And now as we inhale, rise all the way up, extend the arms out to a T. Good, take a moment here. Hug the navel in. And as we exhale, drop the left hand down that left leg. Right arm swims all the way up and over the right ear, maybe even gazing underneath that right arm. Feeling that nice stretch all the way up the side seam of the right side of the body. Good. Now extend your left arm up, catch hold of your right hand, interlace all the fingers except for your pointer fingers, and then stretch the arms back. And feeling that really deep stretch from hip through fingertips. And now lean to the right. Keep those hands interlaced. Lean to the right just until it starts to feel a bit challenging, and pause there. Just a few more breaths. Good. Inhale, come on back up. And as we exhale, take the hands back down to the mat, table pose. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, cow pose. Exhale, round the spine, drop the head. Inhale, come back to neutral. Let's tuck our toes, lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. And feel free to go ahead and pedal the feet back and forth here if you like, just for a few moments. And then take your gaze towards your toes and hide your heels. So if you can see your heels here, do a little bit of internal rotation in the inner thighs. Relax the heels towards the floor. They don't have to touch.
Relax the knees. Lift the hip creases up just a little bit higher as the belly and chest drop towards the thighs. And you might even take your gaze up towards your knees, your thighs, your hips even if you want to. Hug the upper arm bones in, so we want to feel this sense of external rotation in the arms. Let the weight of the head hang heavy, maybe even sway it from side to side a little bit. And then push down and away from you with the hands to really lengthen that stretch in the body. Good. Inhale, rise to the tippy toes. And as you exhale, step, jump, or float to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, take the arms all the way up and overhead. And exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway, find length. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to downward facing dog. Let's bend the knees, crouching tiger, so hovering the knees just above the floor here, sinking the hips all the way back and really stretching the spine. Good, and now slide forward to top of a push-up. Exhale, chaturanga, so lower halfway down. Untuck the toes, inhale, lift the chest, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, take your right leg up in the air. Exhale, step the right foot between the hands, gaze forward. And then step your left foot to the outside of your right foot at the front of the mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen here. And exhale, fold without locking out the knees. We want to feel the sides of the legs, probably your right side feeling a nice deep stretch here. Maybe those left hamstrings or even the low back on that left side getting just a little bit more sensation. Inhale, lift halfway, uncross the legs. Exhale, fold forward. Soften the knees. Inhale, swim the arms all the way up and overhead. Catch hold of that right wrist with the left hand and lean to the left. Inhale, come back through center. And as you exhale, opposite side. Inhale, back through center, gaze up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, crouching tiger. Sink the hips back, really stretch the back here. And then slide it forward, top of a push-up. And take an inhale. Exhale, chaturanga, lower halfway down. Inhale through to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, take the left leg up in the air. As you exhale, step that left foot between the hands, gaze forward. Now step that right foot to the outside of the left at the front of the mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale, fold. Hanging out here again for a few breaths, making sure you're not locking out, especially that back knee. Inhale, lift halfway, uncross the legs. Exhale, fold. Inhale, swim the arms all the way up. Grab hold of the left wrist with the right hand, lean to the right. Inhale, come back through center, other side. Good, inhale, come back up, gaze up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway, find length. Exhale, plant the hands, step your right leg to the back of the mat, drop that right knee down. Inhale, low lunge, arms rise. We're going to push forward into the hips here. So if you'd like, you can take that left knee and really allow it to come as far forward as you're comfortable with. Hug the outer hips in, hug the low belly in, breathe. See if you can come just a little bit more forward in the hips. Good. Now, as we exhale, we're going to drop our hands down to the floor, slide the left leg back to meet the right, and then sink the hips back for a straight leg child's pose. Keep the tops of the feet on the floor, come forward into this version of plank pose. Lift the knees. So we've got the tops of the feet on the floor, breathe. Push the floor away from you. Push a little bit more firmly with the inner edge of the thumb, the bottom of the pointer finger. Breathe, almost there. Exhale, lower all the way down to the floor. Inhale, cobra pose, lift the chest. Exhale, push back to table and downward facing dog. Inhale, take the left leg up in the air. As you exhale, step your left foot between the hands, grab your yoga block, set it to the outside of your left foot. Place your left palm down on that block, and now pivot and plant the right heel. Inhale, take the right arm all the way up and over that right ear, so side angle pose. Breathe. Hug the inner thighs and really push down through your left foot now. As you inhale, rise all the way up to a reverse warrior. Right hand down, left arm reaches up and over. Maybe gaze underneath that left arm. Reach up with your right hand, grab hold of your left wrist, and as you gently pull your left wrist, also straighten your left leg. Good, release the arms out to a T, gaze forward, and then take your right hand to your right hip. So we're going to do a little variation of triangle pose here. So reach forward with your right hand without letting your right shoulder peel forward. So reaching forward, keep that right shoulder, right hip peeling back, go as far as you can, and then take your left hand down to rest inside of the left leg. So I'm going to have my palm facing out here, and just to start to apply gentle pressure. It'll help you twist a little bit. And for this version, we're actually going to look down. So look down towards your left shoulder, maybe right towards your left foot, tuck your chin, and then slide your right arm back in space. As you inhale, swim that right arm all the way over your right ear, palm facing down. As you exhale, take the arm back. Keep the chin tucked. Inhale, swim that right arm all the way over the right ear. As you exhale, take the arm back. Good. One more time, take that right arm all the way over the right ear. Keep pushing into the back of the left hand. Keep breathing. Maybe imagine dialing your left toes to the left here just a bit. And bend into that left knee, rise up to warrior two. As you exhale, take the hands down to the floor, pivot onto the ball of that right foot, drop the right knee, and let's slide the left leg back for a modified side plank. Good, now as you exhale, drop the left hand down, and we're going to scoot the left knee behind the right knee as we sink back into this cross-legged child's pose. Your right knee will hover up off the mat. Good, slowly come forward, uncross the legs. Inhale for cow pose, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale for cat pose, round the spine, drop the head. Inhale, come forward, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. And just spend a moment or two here, finding that breath again. Noticing where the breath is. And then seeing if you have the space to deepen it. And keeping those exhales, if possible, a little bit longer than the inhales. Take one more breath. Inhale, rise to the tippy toes. Exhale, step, jump, or float to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, swim the arms all the way up and overhead. And exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands, step your left leg to the back of the mat, drop that knee down to the floor. Inhale, arms rise, nice low lunge, pushing forward into the hips. Again, squeezing the navel in, hugging the outer hips in, breathing. Maybe finding a little bit more depth if you have the space. How about one more breath? And drop the hands to the floor, slide the right leg back to meet the left, sink back into that straight leg child's pose. Keep the tops of the feet and ankles on the floor, come forward to this version of plank pose, lifting and hovering those knees. And breathe, push the floor away from you. Maybe imagine hugging the thumbs in towards each other, feeling this sense of really deep support in the shoulders, holding up the weight of the body. One more breath. And then lower all the way down to the floor and lift up into Cobra Pose. Exhale, table pose. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, take that right leg up in the air. And as you exhale, step the right foot between the hands, grab your yoga block, set it next to your right foot. Place your right hand on the block. I've got mine the shortest possible way. And then pivot and plant your left heel. Take your left arm all the way over your left ear. And breathe. Imagine dialing your right toes to the right, maybe pushing down through the outer edge of your left foot. Good, now push down really firmly through that right foot and rise all the way up to reverse warrior. Reach up with your left hand, catch hold of your right wrist, and as you pull on your right wrist, straighten your right leg, lean back. Good, release the arms to a T, and now again we're going to take our left hand to our left hip and make sure we're keeping our left shoulder back. Reach as far forward as you can with that right arm, and then take the back of your right hand against the inner right leg, wherever it happens to reach. So for me, I've got about mid-calf here. Keep peeling that left shoulder back. And remember, for this version, we're looking down. So look down towards your right shoulder, tuck your chin, and then reach back with your left hand. As you inhale, stretch the left arm all the way over the left ear. As you exhale, reach back with that left arm. Inhale, stretch the left arm all the way up and over. Exhale, reach back. One more time, reach that left arm forward. Keep looking down, keep pressing the back of your right hand into your right leg. Stretch that left arm. And rebend into that right knee, come up warrior two. Exhale, take the hands down to the floor, drop the left knee, slide that right leg back for a modified side plank, right arm over that right ear. Good, now take the right hand down, cross the right knee behind the left knee, sink back into this cross-legged child's pose. and come forward, uncross the legs. Inhale to drop the belly, lift the gaze, cow pose. Exhale, round the spine, drop the head, cat pose. Slowly come back through center, tuck the toes, lift the hips. Relax the heels. And really just dropping the weight of the head down. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Inhale, rise to the tippy toes. As you exhale, step, jump, or float to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway, and exhale, fold. Inhale, swim the arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart. Good. Inhale, let's take those arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step the right leg to the back of the mat, drop that right knee down. Inhale, low lunge, arms rise. Good, so this time we're going to add just a little bit on here. So catch hold of your right wrist with your left hand. Try to lengthen through the spine, lengthen through that right arm, and then lean to the left. For stability, push your left foot down into the mat and imagine dragging your left heel back towards your right knee. Good, one more breath. Inhale, come back up. And this time as you exhale, drop the hands down to the floor, shift the hips back. Let's take a little hamstring stretch. And your choice here, you can keep those left toes on the floor for a little bit more of a sciatic nerve floss. You could lift the toes up just to get really deep into the belly of the hamstrings on that left side. Keep the chin nice and tucked. Good, slowly come forward into that left knee, slide the left leg back to meet the right. Sink back into straight leg child's pose. Come forward to top of the feet, plank pose, pause. And lower all the way down to your bellies. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, table. Right back into downward facing dog. Inhale, take that left leg up in the air. And as you exhale, step the left foot between the hands. Grab hold of your yoga block and pivot and plant your right heel. Good. So this time, take your right arm straight up in the air towards the ceiling. Keep the right arm stretching up towards the ceiling. Keep the left hand, if you can, pressing down into your yoga block, and then straighten your left leg. So what we're looking for here is to avoid dropping that right shoulder, so really peeling that right shoulder back, maybe even coming up another level on your yoga block if that feels better in your body. And take your gaze up towards your right hand. Good. Now flip your right palm to face the front of your mat and take your right arm all the way over your right ear. Keep peeling your right ribs back, seeing if you can lift your left ribs up towards the ceiling. Rebend into that left knee and rise all the way up to warrior two. Good, gaze in the direction of your left hand, breathe. As you exhale, take the hands all the way down to the floor again. Pivot onto the ball of your right knee. Drop the right knee down to the floor. And let's slide back to that modified side plank. Good. Drop the left hand. Bring the left knee behind the right knee. Sink back into cross-legged child's pose. come forward, uncross the legs, drop the belly, cow pose. And then round the spine, drop the head, cat pose. Come back to neutral, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. One more round. Inhale, rise to the tippy toes. Exhale, step, jump or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold, soften the knees. Inhale, take the arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step your left leg to the back of the mat. Drop that left knee down. Inhale, low lunge. Good, keep breathing here. Push forward into the hips, but lift up through the spine. And now grab hold of your left wrist with your right hand and lean to the right. A few more breaths here. If you have the space to deepen into this one, you can. Of course, push down through that right foot, drag it back isometrically for some more support here. Inhale, bring the arms up. And as you exhale, take the hands down to the mat, shift the hips back, looking for that right leg, hamstring stretch, maybe lifting the toes this time. One more breath. And now come forward into that right knee, slide the right leg back to meet the left, sink back into our straight leg child's pose. And then come forward, top of the feet, plank pose. And breathe. Couple more breaths, almost there. Lower all the way down to the floor. Inhale for cobra. Exhale, table pose, right into downward facing dog. Inhale, take your right leg up in the air. Exhale, step that right foot between the hands, grab your yoga block, place it underneath your hand, pivot and plant that left heel. Side angle, take the left arm straight up towards the ceiling. Now, keep pressing that right hand into the block and see if you can stretch your right leg straight. Think about scooping the right glutes under. Maybe imagine dialing your right toes to the right. Press down and back with your left heel. Almost there. And now re-bend into that right knee, rise all the way up to warrior two. Breathe. As you exhale, swim the hands down to the floor, drop the left knee, slide that right leg back and right arm over the right ear. And drop the right hand, slide the right knee behind the left knee. Cross-legged child's pose, sink the hips back towards the heels. And then slowly come forward, uncross the leg. Inhale to drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, round the spine, drop the head. Good, and then just coming back to neutral. Let's cross at the ankles and either just go ahead and sit on back or slide the legs out to one side or the other if that feels better for you. And come to a seated position here. So I'm gonna turn sideways on my mat. You can do that as well if you'd like to, or you can stay facing forward. And we're just gonna start off here with extending our right leg out to the right. And bringing the left foot up against the inner right thigh, or maybe just close to it.
And we're going to make sure that our right leg right now is pointing straight up. So our right knee is pointing up, our right toes are pointing up. And then how about take our left hand to our left shoulder and peel it back, just for a little tactile feedback here. Bring your right hand, if you can reach, right below your right knee. If you need it a little higher, that's fine. Keep peeling your left shoulder back, and then stretch your left arm over your left ear from there. So what we want is that rotation of the chest to the left as we lean to the right. So this might be plenty for you. You can certainly stay here if you want to. If you can reach your toes, maybe grab hold of your toes with your right foot, right hand. If you can reach that right foot with your left hand, by all means, go for it. And then if you want to here, my favorite version of this one is to drop the forearm to the floor right outside of the calf muscle, and then take your peace fingers, wrap them right underneath your Achilles tendon, and then really reach with that left arm. Try to keep the left sit bone down on the floor here. Keep breathing. How about 3 more breaths? Slowly begin to rise back up and switch sides. So again, bringing now your right foot against your inner left thigh. Your left toes are going to stay pointing straight up. And take your right hand to your right shoulder, just the front of your right shoulder here, and see if you can just kind of peel it back. Set yourself up for a good pose. And then slowly start to slide your left hand down your left leg. And swim your right arm all the way up and over your right ear. Again, if you can reach your left toes with your fingers, go ahead and grab hold. And then go into whatever version that you did on the other side if you can. So I'm going to drop my left forearm to the floor, take my peace fingers, wrap them underneath my Achilles tendon, and then really work to rotate the ribs up towards the ceiling as you stretch the right fingertips to the left. Maybe the gaze is right underneath that right arm. How about 3 more breaths? Keep stretching. Keep rooting down through the right sit bone. Good. And then really carefully begin to come up. And we're just going to find a comfortable seated position here. So maybe just crossing the legs. Let's bring the hands to the knees. And for just a moment, close the eyes and sit up as tall as you can. Good. And now blink the eyes open. And we're going to do just a bit of a stretch for the sides of the neck, the SCM there. So we'll start with the right side. Take your right hand, and we're just going to use the meaty, fleshy part of our right palm to push in against the space that's right below the collarbone and right to the right of the sternum. So just kind of in a little diagonal direction below the the joint between the sternum and the clavicle. So press the right palm there, press the left hand onto the right, push firmly into the muscles there, and then just gently pull the hands down a little bit. You'll feel the skin start to stretch. The sternoclavicular joint, that's what I was looking for. And now drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. Keep that pressure with the hands pressing into the chest. And feel that nice stretch up the right side. If that's enough, simply stay there, maintain that pressure. If you want to kind of just explore a little bit more, take your head back in space, maybe an inch or so, until you really feel that stretch in the right side of the neck. more breath. And then release, drop the hands, close the eyes, and take a moment just to observe change. And then blink open the eyes, and we'll do that same thing on the other side. So maybe just feel for your collarbone there. Drop down maybe an inch, and we don't want it right on the sternum, so it's going to be just to the left of the sternum this time. Press the base of the palm into the upper chest muscles, and then take your right hand and also press with your right hand onto your left. So you want to feel this light pressure, and then gently pull down so it almost feels like you're stretching the skin down, and then drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. And just enjoy that sensation. And if it's enough, stay right where you're at. If not, begin to take the back of the head back in space, maybe an inch or so, just until you feel that nice stretch on the side of the neck. Just one more breath here. And then lift the head, release the hands, close the eyes for a moment. Notice maybe a change in circulation. Good. And then just blink the eyes open. We're going to lie down onto our backs. And right away, stretching the legs out and prepping for shavasana. So maybe taking the legs apart a few extra inches, bringing the arms out a few extra inches, palms facing up. And gently turn the head from side to side. And just finding that perfect resting spot. Softening the eyes and relaxing the space between the eyebrows. Relaxing the jaw. Taking a nice deep breath here in through the nose. Exhale, let it go. Enjoy your rest. Begin to softly deepen the breath. Gently wiggling the fingers and the toes. Slowly rolling the wrists and the ankles. Turning the head softly from side to side. Stretching the legs forward, stretching the arms overhead. Give yourself a nice deep
Stretch. And then as you exhale, bring the knees in towards the chest. Gently rock side to side. Either rocking onto one side or the other, or rolling all the way up to seated. Bringing the hands together at the heart and closing the eyes. Namaste.